Relating ancient wisdom to modern times, she draws from the spiritual knowledge found within the central text of the Hindu tradition. So this program will take place morning and evening satsangs, not tonight, but this morning and again tomorrow morning and evening. And we are very grateful. So let's receive Swamini Svatmavidyananda.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. Namaste to all. Thank you to the Shivananda Ashram for inviting me to give this series of talks sharing what we have learnt from the Guru. That is all any kind of Vedanta worth its name is. Vedanta means Vedanam Antah, the last portion of the Veda, also known as the Upanishads. And so we will be studying a small portion in what is called the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Brihad means huge. How huge? Like a forest. Aranya means forest, like a forest. And this Upanishad is 100 pages, and it is like a forest in two ways. That like in the forest, it is dense and full of all kinds of things, and so that in that way it is huge and has all kinds of things. It has mantras for well-being, human beings to be well, and mantras for any kind of success that one wants. And it has self-knowledge, and in order to understand and assimilate the self-knowledge, because sometimes one comes in one's own way of understanding and assimilating this knowledge. So for that there are some sadhanas, upasanas, various kinds of meditations to prepare the mind to gain this knowledge. So that is another way in which it is a forest. The third way this Upanishad is like a forest is in that the similarity of the forest is in that the forest has its own ecosystem. Nothing that grows in a forest is in the forest is an accident, and each thing relies on another. And so too the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad builds up the whole compendium of various upasanas, various sadhanas, meditations, and the teaching about the truth of the self as free, whole, limitless, and unafflicted, unaffected by what is called samsara. And what is samsara? Some sorrow or the other. That is what samsara is. And so any whiff of being affected by other people's sorrows, or sorrows centered on so many things, what one has, what one doesn't have, what one wants, what one doesn't want, all these things become the reasons, hetu, for sorrow. And all this is discussed and systematically removed. So the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in its huge, endless numbers of mantras and all, has a plan for us. And we'll be studying a small portion of it. And it is the knowledge portion of it. In fact, the whole Upanishad deals with knowledge, but since the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is very big, It has many, many more topics than some other Upanishads that are straight away focused on what is called Atma Vidya. Atma Vidya means the knowledge of who I am. So, this is a short introduction on what the Brihadaranyaka is, and then we'll talk more as the days go by. So, if and what is this Upanishad? The Upanishad is a compendium of what we call self knowledge. Self knowledge means what? Who am I? That is what it is. And this is the series of paradoxes connected to Vedanta. And what are those? What is one big paradox? I want to learn about myself. I want to know who I am. And then what do? I log into a class taught by a perfect stranger. This is a very interesting paradox. I want to know about myself. And yet, I log in, to a what is called nowadays we have the Gurukulams are closed, so we have Zoom Kulam. So I log into the Zoom Kulam of somebody telling me who I am. Why should somebody, a perfect stranger who I have never met, who I hardly know, and yes, there was some introduction in the beginning, but that doesn't add to anything. So this is a very, very interesting thing. People log in to hear about themselves from someone who they don't even know. If it is self-knowledge, should it not be already understood? Or should I not have to just sit and think and meditate and do things to understand the truth of myself? Why do I have to go to somebody else? This is a very, very interesting question. And somehow this is instinctively understood, even though one may have never heard about Vedanta, even though one may have never heard about what we call Guru Shishya Parampara, the unending lineage of teacher and student. Every student, every teacher was a student, and every student will go to become a teacher. So, like this is the way of the world. And even though one doesn't know this, instinctively there is a feeling, not even a feeling, there is a conviction that I don't know myself. There is a series of feelings and convictions that one cannot deny. That I don't know the truth of myself is one of the convictions that bring one to dare to log into a class on self-knowledge, being given by somebody who you barely know. This is a very interesting, situation. Then there is another conviction in the heart that I am supposed to be happy. The goal of life is to be happy. When? You cannot say, for 5 minutes tomorrow starting 4 o'clock. No, that's not the idea. When do you want to be happy? Now. How long you want to be happy? The answer always is forever. I want to be happy today. I want to be happy tomorrow. I want to be happy here. I want to be happy if there is afterlife. After I cast off this body, then also I want to be happy. In other words, I want to be happy all the time. This is also one has a conviction. This is the second conviction. The first conviction that is sensed, which is not taught by Sunday schools, which is not taught by religions, which is not taught by mother, father. It is somehow innate in one's understanding There is something missing that I don't know. I need help. SOS. I need some help here. That is the first conviction. And its corollary, the second conviction is I want something. What is it that you want? You can say, I want a big bank account, I want a big name, I want to become famous, so that when I Google myself, pages and pages of results should come out. You may say all that. I want to be well known, I want to have good health, I want to be surrounded by loved ones. Each after each I want, we just have to step back and ask a question: why? Why do you want money? In order to feel secure. Why do you want something or the other? Name, in order to feel secure. Why do you want loved ones around you? In order to feel secure, in order to feel happy. This is what everything is, for the sake of this inner security, which is the basis, the foundation of happiness. Everything seems to be for that. And somehow one has made the connection between the bank account and one's security or happiness. The money doesn't make you happy. Having lots of money in your hand doesn't make you happy. Otherwise, bank tellers would be the happiest people on the planet. They are always counting so much money and giving it, but they don't seem to be any better off than anybody else on the planet. So that is why it is what money represents. It is not money per se. It is not some kind of a security per se, but it is what that source of security represents. And it represents happiness, which should be unbridled and which should be there all the time, without limitations of space, of time. This is what one wants. This is the second conviction. And the third conviction is that my nature is that of happiness. Even the saddest person understands this without attending a single Vedanta class, without even setting foot into an ashram. People know that their nature is supposed to be happy. How? How does one know this? Very, very interesting. How on earth can one know this without having attended any Upanishad class, without having gone to any yoga ashram? Nothing. But somehow this is there. It is there. And in fact, it's not just you, even the pharmaceutical companies know the vision and the message of the Upanishads. Because the pharmaceutical companies now are coming out with more and more and more of anti-anxiety medicines, anti-depressants. Why? Because even the pharmaceutical companies know that depression is to be removed. It is not a natural state of the human heart, the human mind. Anxiety is not the natural state. Fear is not a natural state. Sorrow is not a natural state. Somehow one knows this instinctively. And these three convictions, which are there within, form the basis for the pursuit of the knowledge of the self, even from a perfect stranger that one doesn't even recognize. So these three convictions are the tripod on which the desire to be free of that sorrow, of that fear, of all that anxiety. In fact, one also knows that this anxiety, etc., comes up. The anxiety, the sorrow, the fear, all these unwanted emotions They come up when I am awake to what is called the Jagat, the state of affairs in this manifest reality. In sleep, there is no sorrow, no unhappiness. I'm not talking in dream. I'm not talking of the dream. I'm talking of sleep. In deep sleep, there is no unhappiness. In deep sleep, no worries, no sorrows, no fears, no anxiety, no jealousy, no sense of self loath, no sense of self inadequacy, self judgment. Nothing. One is totally free in sleep. Perhaps that is how one knows this is my real nature. Then the solution is simple enough. Go to sleep. What? In Vedanta class? Believe me, it happens. In Vedanta class, one gets the best sleep ever. Really. Because Vedanta classes are very, very relaxing. And unless one has done some sadhana, one doesn't know that there are many kinds of deep relaxation without needing to go to sleep. Since Vedanta is relaxing, people just nod off. And therefore, this is, so the remedy for this, just go to sleep. No, 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 that's not the solution. Why? Because how long to sleep? How much to sleep? I have to be awake at some point, and being awake means relating to the manifest universe. Relating to the manifest universe is the area, represents the area of all kinds of problems. And what is this manifest universe? It starts with your own body, mind, sense complex. This is the manifest universe. Anything that you observe is part of the manifest universe. Anything that you can see, anything that you can hear, anything that you can observe, anything that you can touch, taste, etc., anything that you can infer, all this, anything in short, anything that you can objectify is the manifest universe. This is the manifest universe. It starts with one's own body. I observe this body. This is an objective observation. This body is. It weighs this much. And then it is this many inches tall. And right now it is sitting and listening to a lecture. This is an objective observation of the body. But that's not all that is going on. In addition to the objective observation, all the subjectivity appears to creep in, God knows from where. And what is the subjectivity? Oh, it's not tall enough. It is never the correct weight. It is never the correct weight. And either one wants to lose some things or one wants to gain something. Rarely one wants to gain. Usually one wants to lose. One wants to get rid of something. And same thing with regard to the mind. This is the mind. This is an objective observation. In fact, the only thing you can say objectively about the mind is never mind. That's what. But more than that, there are so many subjective perceptions about the mind. I don't like how I think. I am restless. I am an idiot. Why did I do this? Why didn't I do this? I knew better. I should not have done this. I should not have made friends with this ingrate. Why did I make friends with this person who doesn't know how to even spell friendship? Why did I do this? Why didn't I do this? This is a series of regrets which is centered on the I from the standpoint of the mind. And then with connection to the senses also. I am deaf. I am blind, I am this, I am that, so many things. So, with regard to this universe, what is this universe? This own body, mind, sense complex. With regard to this universe, there are a number of notions, assumptions. And these assumptions, where do they come from? They come from a mistaken understanding of the I. That is the root cause of these notions. Simple. And why is there a mistaken understanding as of the I? Because one is born with self ignorance. Why is one born with self ignorance? Because that is how it is. Birth takes place because of a lot of raga and dvesha, strong preferences. I want, I want, I want, I want, I want this, I want that, and then strong prejudices. I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. I want, I want, I want. I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. This comprises one's whole life, and then one lives the life trying to fulfill the wants, and then trying to push back the don't wants, trying to run away from the don't wants. One life gone. And of course, there is karma, and then the karma phala, another life. Want, 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 want. Run towards the wants. In Sanskrit, known as pravritti, and run away from the don't wants. Another life gone. Another life gone. Either you are a chaser or you are chased. That is what it is. And if you see these National Geographic videos, you see this. Very, very, very interesting. One video I recently saw, they made this video, and it was the video dedicated to the underdog of the wild. So one lion comes, and this is in the Serengeti forest in Africa. In the Serengeti forest, this lion comes, king of the jungle, looks around, spots an adolescent zebra. And the zebra is, it's incapable of camouflage. You cannot even, where will it, it stands out. And the lion says, "Goody, lunch." And it lunges after the zebra. Zebra takes off in a dust. Lion flies. And then what happens? The zebra goes to mummy, and the mummy is, it's a small adolescent one. And then the mummy is, makes a kind of a sign language. It was so nice to see. Goes like this to the herd. Mummy is part of the herd. That's why it's called herd, because they all heard what the mother zebra wanted. And they all surround the lion. The lion, this was not part of the lion's plan. It was having a challenging karmic day. Challengingly karmic day. And it looked around, a zebra here, a zebra there. Oh, okay, two fellows. Okay, I hadn't planned for these two fellows I can take on. And then very soon, it was encircled by about 40, 50 zebras. And it didn't end well for the lion. What did the lion, what happened to the lion? It was lying down. It was pummeled, it was bitten, it was beaten up, and it was lying down. And this is what, either one is the chaser or sometimes one is the chased. This is how life after life after life goes away. Wasted, so to speak. Why? Because many lives go away, and one doesn't, while one understands these three things that we talked about earlier, namely that I am, that I am searching for happiness, and that this happiness should, I have a birthright, it should be my real nature. And somehow I don't know this, I'm missing something in life. So many lifetimes are gone without even having the capacity to sense that, like even in an animal body. It is what we call bhoga sharira. It is a sharira, a body where previous karmas are exhausted, but one cannot really be an agent of action because one is programmed. You know, the dog, the cat, the cow, they have a few desires. Few desires they have, but not really. They don't have the free will like the human being. In the human being, it is as though Ishvara, Bhagavan, God, decided to make this mind free enough to desire. Free enough to desire what? Anything at all in the universe. And so this free will and this complete self-consciousness, I am completely conscious of myself and I am conscious of everything around me, is a mixed blessing. On the one hand, there is free will and freedom to desire. And if this freedom to desire is used badly, is abused, it becomes a big chain, a shackle on the neck. So it is a mixed blessing because of this free will I come to know that I'm missing something in life. Because of the free will, I can pursue what is being missed. This is all a blessing. But because of the free will also, I am free enough to come to certain judgments about the I, and therefore be subject to grief, therefore be subject to fear, therefore be subject to all kinds of miseries, anxieties. This is the shadow side of this freedom. So therefore what? Jantunam narajanma durlabham. The life of a human being is very, very difficult to find. The life of a human being is a very difficult incarnation. And why is that a difficult incarnation? It's a difficult incarnation because a lot of punya. Punya doesn't have English translation. Unless you want to try saying punya with an American accent. That's all is possible. So, punya means comfortable situations from this or other lives because of having followed dharma, having followed righteous ways of living, having followed an ethical life where one reaches out to others, etc. Helpful life, helpful to others, a life of service, a life of prayer is a dharmic life, an ethical life. And that creates certain situations which become the factors for a human birth. And even in the human birth, if one spends chasing and being chased, what a travesty! What a travesty! When one can harness this life into inquiring into the truth of the I. Why do I identify with everything small, everything finite? Question number one. Question number two, why am I addicted to everything that is finite? Question number three, why do I spend hour after hour, day after day, life after life, trying to make the finite into infinite, which is not at all a possibility? Finite plus finite, doubly finite. Limited plus limited, what can we say? Private limited, like a company or like even a marriage. One limited person, one person feeling limited, decides to marry another person who also suffers from notions of limitation. And then what happens? Doubly limited. And so why is it? Why am I in love with the world which is finite? Why am I addicted to this manifest universe full of finite things? The infinite doesn't even seem to be anywhere around locally. And if what we call the source of the universe, this God is infinite, where are you? Right here comes the answer. Right where? The truth of the one asking the question according to the Shastra, according to the teachings. Truth of the one asking the questions. And so these questions are very, very important questions. Where is this infinite? And then never mind if I can't find the infinite, I will try to make the finite into infinite. How does one do that? Think of all the things with which we prop our bodies and our minds. There is one herb called ginkgo. Ginkgo is becoming extinct because everybody is keeping on taking it. Antioxidants. I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't even know how to spell antioxidants. This is a new thing. Antioxidants to go some kind of a rasayana. Rasayana means elixir of life, of youth. Why do you want to be young? Oh, well, person will say, I want to be young because it makes me happy. Why does it make me happy? Not because I want to be young. Not because I want to keep on seeing myself in the mirror. It's because I want to be immortal. And what is the desire to be immortal is nothing but the desire to be infinite. On part of who? The one who is already infinite, as we shall see in the next class of Madhuvidya, this teaching from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Again, the next class will be same time tomorrow, not not tonight. Okay, all right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.